Hey, how's it going, everybody? Mike here. Got a video for you. It's going to be about the early heavy metal scene. And yeah, so I got my board here. I'm going to put that up right away. I'm just going to outline what I consider to be some of the key bands in the early heavy metal scene. I'm not going to obviously list all the bands, because there's so many of them, dozens if not hundreds of bands that are sort of connected with the early heavy metal scene. Yeah, I'm just going to show you some of my albums as well. Obviously I don't have albums from all these bands. You know what, just let me put this board up right away. Yeah, so basically I just outlined some of the early heavy metal bands. I got 10 of them here. So yeah, Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple, Black Sabbath, Blue Cheer, Sir Lord Baltimore, Coven, Budgie, Iron Butterfly, Black Widow, Alice Cooper. You know, those are some of the bands I consider to be, you know, some of the most important bands as far as, you know, the early heavy metal scene goes. I mean, basically heavy metal started in the late 60s. That's kind of where you can trace it back to. I'd say about 68 or so was sort of the beginnings of, you know, heavy metal. You can't really go back too much further than that, I would say. I mean, basically heavy metal, you know, was influenced a lot by 60s rock and roll bands like the Beatles, the Kinks, the Who, Rolling Stones, all those types of bands, as well as blues artists as well, and even classical music and other types of music, I would imagine, as well. England was a big center for the early heavy metal scene. As you can see, Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple, Black Sabbath are all from there. Those bands are considered some of the most important bands as far as early heavy metal goes. Very important. Iron Butterfly is one of my personal favorites. I absolutely love them. I don't have albums by all these bands though, fortunately. So yeah, I'll just show you a few albums I have here. Obviously Led Zeppelin, this is their 4th album. Led Zeppelin again, Physical Graffiti. Deep Purple, Machine Head, a very important album. Alice Cooper had one of his albums, his greatest hits. I got Blue Cheer's first album, very good album, Vince Abyss Eruptum. Highly recommend this one, very good. Of course, one of my personal favorites, Iron Butterfly. Got a couple of their albums, I really enjoy them quite a bit. One of the most important bands, very important band as far as really heavy metal goes, and a personal favorite of so many is Black Sabbath. This is their first album, released in 1970. I'm going to show you some of their other early albums. This is their 2nd album, Paranoid. 3rd album, Master of Reality. 4th album, Volume 4. 5th album, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. And their 6th album, Sabotage. Black Sabbath is just a phenomenal band. Such a great band. I mean, if you're going to get into early heavy metal, they're a definite must that you have to check out. But I mean, so many of these other bands are important as well. I mean, there are other bands I could mention as well, like Grand Funk Railroad, Captain Beyond, Uriah Heep, Bang, Mountain, MC5, The Stooges. So many bands are part of that early scene and were very important. But yeah, that's basically about it. A lot of the early heavy metal bands had a very blues-based sound as well, like Black Sabbath. Very bluesy sounding, especially on their first album, but mind you, on all their material, very bluesy. Yeah, so that's about it. I would strongly recommend, if you're into heavy metal, checking out some of these early bands. This is where it all went down. Yeah, so that's about it, I think. So yeah, thanks for watching. You have a good day.